On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, GTA 6 pre-orders, the PlayStation Store has been updated, hinting at potential pre-orders being on the way. Bears,
but I can entertain the idea that bears exist within this universe.
And a new GTA Online trailer paves the way for GTA 6.
What would be cool is like a Fortnite-style epic world-bending event.
It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to episode 93 of GTA 6 o'clock, the world's most in-depth and best connected GTA 6 show. Coming to you live and direct, as always, from Los Santos. I am your host, James JJ Jarvis, and joining me in the chair opposite is Dan DD Dawkins.
Greetings from the opposite chair.
Hello. Now you would think, Dan, that as we head towards episode 100, without a trailer or any new assets for around 5 months, that there wouldn't be that much to talk about. And you would be...
wrong. My friend, you would be wrong.
Absolutely wrong. There's loads of good stuff coming up this week, plus the fact that we are just 32 weeks away from launch. Put it in week format, sounds pretty close, doesn't it?
It's practically tomorrow.
Now that would put us on about episode 125 when the game comes out. And considering we're already talking about episode 100, it feels close. But speaking of episode 100, stay tuned for the end for a special request that we have from you, the listeners. Or skip to the end and then skip back to this bit. Do what you want. I don't mind. But the point is, listen to the end because there's something exciting to talk about there. Last week we featured our impression of what the box art may look like. Lots of good responses to that, with a lot of people actually saying that Raul Batista will end up on the cover. There's big movement towards maybe replacing the money thing and putting Raul Batista up in the middle section. Can't argue with that. Think that would be also pretty much a likely possibility. So let's see when we get the cover art.
I wanted to quickly chime in on the comments last week where a number of people, and you may have noticed this, James. Yeah, I'm catching you on the hop here, so your face looks vaguely terrified. A lot of people in the comments couldn't tell us apart.
Oh, no, I did read that, and I chose to ignore it.
I'm going to say it. I found it vaguely mind-blowing, especially the shocking allegation that neither of us can pronounce our R's.
Yeah, well, it's because we're from England.
Yeah, this is true. It's true. So no one British can pronounce an R.
Correct.
What would be a good test of that? Rabbit? The round rabbit.
Well, yeah, this isn't going to help your cause, I don't think.
Oh, God,
because I think you're meant to roll it.
Round
rabbit.
Round rabbit. There we go. It's fixed.
I mean, that's not going to help with knowing who was saying that.
No. And I only comment because I laugh because someone in the comments said James is the executive sounding one.
Oh, yes.
Which is good. That's very good.
Thank you.
And Dan said, it says, Dan sounds like he's frustrated at work and constantly sick. And I had to say, is that my therapist?
How many times can you like a comment?
Are you here? Are you here, my therapist? So I thought that was really amusing. So I don't know. How do you tell us apart? Please share that in the comments with your fellow listeners.
Oh, boy.
And tell us to never read it because that would be too much. But I want to say thank you. I genuinely enjoyed that. And I like that people engage enough with the show to want to share their opinions and also to note that we can't pronounce our R's.
At some point as we roll towards launch, maybe, we'll do a special live episode in person and people can come and still not be able to tell us apart.
Oh,
that'd be exciting.
That would be fun. If you want us to do a live show, an actual live show that people can come to in person.
It is something we're signing up for that
may
or may not happen.
Oh, well, maybe we'll do it. If there's enough interest, we might do it. I mean, the crazy dream, I'm going to put it out there, dream folder style, is we host it live in, you know where.
Miami.
Okay. That's right. In actual Miami. Now, it may end up being somewhere like low rent in
London.
The UK in a village hall or London. That would be fine. But anyway, I'm putting it out there. Let's progress with the show.
Yeah, we'll find a Miami-themed bar in London instead. And maybe do it there. Right, okay, all of that aside, let's crack on with the first thing in this week's episode. And as I mentioned at the top, it's bears. now this may come as a surprise, but Dan, do you remember the is this a rock or an elephant debate from many episodes past?
How could I ever forget such a thing?
This was the Mount Gallagher National Park screenshot. I think it's screenshot number 4. That is a big environmental shot, just showing you how beautiful everything's going to look. And up in the top right corner, there is a rock that looks a little bit like it could be an elephant. Now this, you have to zoom into a lot to even see it because it's so far away and it's not what this screenshot is showing off. And now people are asking if another rock is actually a bear cub. Now, if you go on the GTA forums, there's one of the commenters that says, if you look immediately slightly down from it, they're talking about the elephant rock,
yes,
to the left, there is a clear image of a black bear cub. Now, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Dan, because obviously we had a big debate over elephant or not elephant, and I'm pretty sure we very much decided that it was not elephant, and that is actually a big rock. So let's expand this to, could this be a bear cub?
Blimey. I obviously hadn't heard of this conversation piece until about 10 minutes before I got into this room. My first reaction was incredulity. And I was trying to remember where I stood on the whole elephant versus rock debate. I feel like pretty firmly on rock.
Yes.
I'm sure people could go back on that episode and go, no, Dan, you were pro-elephant. But I'm going to say now it was rock. My gut reaction again was initially just to laugh it out of court because, there's a lot of rocks up there.
Yeah.
And if it was clearly a bear, we'd have noticed it when analysing the other rock. So, but now whether this is the AI age or we're all losing our mind because, we haven't had new information for a while, I can see where this has come from. Do I agree with it? But I do see where they're coming from. Like, where do you stand with it?
Yeah, I think I went down the same path. Initially, I was like, that, my friend, is another rock. But actually, and this is the problem of zooming into something that isn't the focus of the screenshot, because everything gets a little bit blurry. Your mind starts making up shapes that it tries to recognize. And you can sort of see on this like a darker outline with what appears to be like 2 ears. And if you compare it to an image of a black bear cub, their ears do stick out a bit like the formation that's happening here. So I can believe it, but I also would then say, why would it be there? Like, it's so indescript that if Rockstar are trying to say, hey, there's bears in the game, putting a tiny, tiny hint like this in a screenshot that is an environmental screenshot and not about bears or elephants feels like a nice nod, but so subtle that, why wouldn't it just put the bear a bit closer to the edge so you could go, oh, that's a bear?
Yeah. Look, the thing here is the context, right? Like when you zoom in, you might be forgiven for thinking this is quite a major part of the overall screenshot, where in reality, and I'm sure producer Nathan can do this on screen, if we can go from the zoom in to the full context, it's like 0.5% of the entire screenshot. It's the level of zoom in. I've got it open in Photoshop at the full resolution. It's at such a level of magnification to see it. You're literally seeing the dots in the frame on the screen.
Yeah, it's even smaller than an elephant.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So I don't have a great level of conviction that this is true, but I can entertain the idea that bears exist within this universe. And you've been doing a bit of digging to suggest, well, could they?
Well, yeah, if we're going down the rabbit hole or the bear range.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah.
Then we have to investigate if we actually get bears in Florida. Everyone who lives in the US or definitely Florida will know the answer to this. Yes, is the short answer. Bears can be found almost anywhere in Florida. They prefer a mixture of flatwoods, swamps, scrub oak ridges, bayheads, and hammock habitats. Bear facts: the area they roam in search for food, water, and adequate cover is called a home range. So we are investigating the bear home range. Now, if you look at a map of where bears are found in Florida specifically, there is actually quite a dense population of them. There's around 3,000 bears in Florida, according to latest figures. But if you look at the map of Florida, on the bottom west of the piece, the area of Florida, is where we would expect the wetlands to be in GTA 6. Big congregation of bears down there. So if you transplant what we know of the map onto this image, yes, I would say it's pretty likely that bears are going to be one of the animals, even though we haven't seen them yet. Or have we? Even though we haven't seen them yet, I think bears are more than likely to exist in GTA 5. In GTA 6, not 5. So they exist in Florida. Will they exist in GTA 6? I would say pretty solid yes. Rockstar already have models from Red Dead 2, which had bears in it, that they could just reasonably easily transplant into GTA 6, which is why Florida and Vice City is such a great location for them, because a lot of the wildlife in Red Dead 2 can easily just be moved across to Miami with a few tweaks. And then they don't have to, model a whole load of new animals. They can just put a lot of the Red Dead animals within Florida. Bob's your uncle. Bears live in Florida now, which they do.
Do you know the rule of bear encounters?
They're different types, isn't it, for different types of bear?
I'm just seeing it. I had to jog my memory just then, but I'm asking as a pop quiz. What's the rules for a black bear?
Black bear, stand and shout.
Yeah, pretty good. Is black fight back?
Right.
Brown lay down.
White
dead. I don't.
There's no rules for polar bears.
I think actually for polars, it is like you're in trouble. I'm also. This is not legal advice. I do not advise anyone to go out fighting black bears, but that is apparently what the rule is.
I don't think you're actually meant to physically fight them.
No, I think it's like you can agitate, like you said, but for a brown bear, don't do that. Play dead.
Okay.
Is apparently the advice. It feels a bit too much like an Alien movie to me, to lie flat and pray it walks over your head or something.
Yes.
I'd probably run away and get mauled to death. Anyway.
Well, while I was looking at the black bear facts, they're very non-aggressive creatures. They will only really protect their cubs and possibly a food source. So if you do see one, I think, like making yourself big and shouting at it would be the way forward, because they're not really that aggressive unless you like really piss them off.
Tune in next week on Bear Facts.
Right then, I tried to think of a good link to get from bears to the PlayStation Store, but I can't do it. So we're just going to roll into the headline that allegedly the PlayStation Store has been updated, hinting at potential pre-orders being on the way. Now, this came from Bangalore News, which I'll be honest, I had never clicked on before until I saw this headline. And they said a new update has appeared on the game's official PlayStation Store page. This update is a new section dedicated to game editions. The section is currently empty, but it's a standard placeholder before pre-orders go live. According to Reuters, such back-end updates often precede a major product announcement. This follows a similar earlier update on the Xbox Store that listing also briefly featured a non-functional preload button. The consistent activity across platforms points to coordinated preparation by Rockstar and its publishers, which all hints towards pre-orders are coming. So they say. And you know what pre-orders means, Dan? It means we could soon learn about special editions like the inflatable crocodile and other bonus items, which actually, if you look back at history, which we will do in a minute, isn't strictly true, because when pre-orders come out, they're just pre-orders. And I don't think you get the special editions at that point. I think they come later. The problem with all of this reporting is I couldn't verify it at all. Went on the PlayStation Store online version, and the PlayStation Store on the PlayStation 5, and there is no sections for game editions on there. Now, that I guess isn't to say it wasn't there at some point. It has now been removed, but it's definitely not there now. And I also can't find that Reuters article that zoombangalore.com was citing. They also didn't hyperlink back to it. So I don't really know where this has come from. It could just be a whole load of clickbait stuff. If I was being, a little bit mean to them, I would say maybe this is a clickbait article. What has happened is the ratings and review section has been added to the GTA 6 listing on the PlayStation Store. But this is like a universal change across the PlayStation website and isn't exclusive to GTA 6. So there has been an update, but it's an update that was store-wide rather than anything GTA 6 related. I don't think anything has happened, and I also couldn't find much evidence of the Xbox Store thing happening either. So I know everyone got a little bit excited for a minute there, but I would hold on to your virtual crocodiles / horses before we get too excited.
Yeah, and Bangla News, I don't know them. And so it's hard to cite the precedent. Reuters is like one of the most, acclaimed news reporting sources. So
and that's why I got excited.
Yeah, you'd like to think that adds it a bit more credence. But if you can't find it, very hard to know where the truth lies in all of this. But Rockstar, I think, have been caught out a few times in the past doing administrative things in public because all eyes are on them. And I think they've probably you would like to think they've got better at not doing something like it's a stupid tell. So someone's going to do it and go, ha, this has changed. Unless, as I've said before, they consciously do that as we're going to let people see it. And if they do, they do. It's a bit of marketing in a weird way. That's it. But it feels a bit hard to verify this one.
Yeah, and obviously there are things that have to happen that are sort of beyond their control, like this kind of thing. If you're going to open up pre-orders, you'd want you to be able to do it on your PlayStation directly. Therefore, they have to do some back-end work to make that button functional or even appear onto the page. And someone along the line has to do that at a certain point. And there are obviously human errors that could take place where someone just goes, I thought you meant to do that for this week. And they were like, no, in 3 weeks' time is what we actually wanted.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that things are being prepared. But I guess it leads to the question that when will pre-orders actually come? Now, if we go back in history to GTA 5, this is a long way back, those pre-orders went live on November the 5th, 2012, along with a trailer 2 announcement of the trailer that was coming on November the 14th.
Yeah, so the trailer was coming 9 days after the announcement of the trailer, but the trailer dropped mid-November.
Later, yeah. Now, this was all when the game was coming out in spring, which we assume to be around May. Obviously, we don't quite know the window before it got delayed.
They never really narrowed it down. It could have been anywhere, I guess, from March to end of May would sort of technically be spring.
Yeah, which then got delayed until the end of September, as we know. Now, the statement they put out about that was just, starting today, Grand Theft Auto 5 is officially available for pre-order everywhere. For those of you who might prefer online retail to the more traditional brick and mortar, we've included a list of links to some popular retails below. We'll add additional international retail links here as they become available. We're also making the newest official artwork for the game that was featured in last week's announcement. Grab Beach Weather from Rockstar Downloads page and look for much, much more to be revealed, including the Game Informer cover story later this week, as well as an update on the release of the next official trailer. Now, this harks back to a totally different time of when Game Informer existed as a physical product. Their cover and the press previews then went live November 8th to the 12th. So we had pre-orders go live, an announcement of trailer 2, then a few days later, Game Informer, I think it was like a 13-page spread, the biggest one they'd ever done at the time for GTA 5. And then a following week was trailer 2. So where does all that put us with GTA 6? Well, it's been about 5 months since trailer 2 came out. The next earnings call, which sometimes signifies announcements, is going to be in November, specifically Thursday, November the 6th, 2025. But we've already had trailer 2. Trailer 3 for GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 were about 4 to 5 months out from launch. So that would place that timeline around mid-January for trailer 3 of GTA 6, which would line up with Take-Two's February earnings call and Strauss Zelnick's previous comments about marketing their games around 4 to 6 months out from launch. If you want to go 6 months out from launch, you could look at November as some kind of significant date. But I think, as we've discussed before, I feel reasonably confident in saying I think we're going to have silence until, well, the Christmas screenshots, obviously, and then something in January.
Yeah, I don't know is the answer. Like, and I guess maybe this is partly to engineer artificial disagreement, but I'm not ruling out a trailer, pre-orders and trailer on the timeline they did for GTA 5, where there could be something, you know, November this year to announce pre-orders, possibly as a prelude to a trailer. Like, and again, it could be similar timeline. You've got to think, you know, we don't know the date that spring 2013 was going to be, but it's conceivable it might have been May.
Yes.
And then it would be a similar-ish timeline. Like you say, though, like we are 12 to 13 years on from that point.
Yeah.
And like they all, yeah, if you look, it's quite quaint looking back at how they framed the place you could buy things, but it says available to pre-order anywhere. For those of you that might prefer online retail to the more traditional bricks and mortar, you know, that was a world where the bricks and mortar was dominant.
Yeah.
That is not the case anymore. And I dare say that sentence will be flipped for this next set around. But I could see a world where pre-orders are launched, you know, like mid-November onwards, ahead of a trailer 3. I guess it would be then.
Would be trailer 3. Yeah.
I could see it. And in terms of the sequencing with the investor call, you can look back at when they announced the delay, but that is different. There's a difference to be made here, right? That they had to announce the delay before the investor call, otherwise it would have become the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And because it directly impacts investor sentiment and ergo the share price, I think it would have been pretty brassy of Strauss Zelnick to have an investor call where he went, it's on track, it's on track, it's on track, it's on track, it's on track. And then like a week later say, actually, it's not on track, it's not good at all. That they had to get ahead of that one. With pre-orders, I don't think it's quite as important because it's not as, I don't know, like maybe you could read it as a negative sign, but they don't have to get ahead of it in the same way in terms of the sequencing. But I'm a little bit more optimistic we'll get something this year. Let's wait and see. This campaign's been very different to the previous ones.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the core difference is we've heard them talk about shorter launch campaigns for their games and seen it in Borderlands and Mafia and Civilization. Like all of the recent big hitters that they've released have had reasonably short run-ups to launch. 6 months is still reasonably short, I would argue, you know, like
for maybe the biggest game ever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I could be convinced, but November's so soon.
Yeah, it's literally next month.
And I know, if you're saying then they're not that bothered about the investor call, so we don't have to worry about, because that's November the 6th, which is early November.
Yeah.
If they're not worried about that and they know that something is going to happen, it's probably all right. I can see a world in which pre-orders are announced like they did with GTA 5 with just a wall of text on a black background going pre-orders are now open and nothing else.
Yeah.
And that is the news. that because that's basically all the news they need to announce.
Yeah.
Is just pre-orders are open now. Have fun. We'll have more updates to share soon, and then you'd get nothing. That could happen. I'd like to think we'd get another trailer. I just can't, because then you're going to have to release another trailer, right? You can't just release trailer 3.
It can't be the last trailer before launch, obviously.
So then what? Then you're going into 4 and 5, maybe. Like, are we going to get a focus on Jason and Lucia separately, like we did Michael, Trevor, Franklin? Who knows? But you start to condense your timelines quite a lot by throwing away a trailer. I say flippantly, throwing away a trailer in November means then early next year or February, you're going to have to start making a lot more assets. Whereas you could hold that back and just go, we can hold this for a February trailer. This will be fine.
And it all depends on the number of stages they want to have. But you've got to think, the trailers released so far, we haven't had anything that's like explicitly gameplay. I know there's gameplay in the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm not really litigating that. What I'm saying is, for example, when they did the Game Informer cover, Game Informer got a really big... They were the first to talk about the mechanics of the game and the way it would play differently and the things it would do. Like, they're not going to do a magazine cover this time around. I very much doubt. But are they going to plan either with a key brand or brands, or are they going to own, let's talk about gameplay, and do it with, here's a deep dive preview of some features. They're not going to give everything away. They want the game to be full of surprises.
Yeah.
But I think they'll do something to hype up innovation in gameplay before it's released, which probably isn't trailer 3. It feels a bit granular for trailer 3. There might still be mileage in more of a character style trailer or something like that. I don't know. There's also, the big thing of, will they completely separate out plans for GTA Online, or will they talk about that before GTA 6 comes out? Or are they going to say, yes, it's coming, more to follow, and sort of annex it? I don't know. Like, is there a danger that almost becomes a distraction from the core of GTA 6? If you start doing stages dedicated to that. Like, if that was your last stage before launch, is that the wrong messaging or not? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing that they wrestled with before, which is why for GTA 5, we got the delayed launch of online. The messaging for that was very much, we're giving you time to enjoy the single player before you jump into online, which felt good. And maybe they'll want to do that again. I think, as we'll get onto in a minute for GTA Online, now that product already exists, it might be slightly harder to do that. But what I did get vaguely excited about was with the announcement of pre-orders and trailer 2 for GTA 5 came the press previews, like some form of access happened around, at the time, 6 months before the game was coming out, which, if we're mirroring that to GTA 6, would be these same kind of dates, like November time. Do you think there's any scope that there's a possibility of somebody like GTA 6 o'clock getting hands-on, or probably won't be hands-on, the Game Informer is very much hands-off, getting like a guided demo of a section of a bit of the game, which then everyone can go and talk about and analyze for the next 6 months?
I think in my mind, I don't know if it's based on any reason. I'd have to look back at previous ones we've attended. It feels like that's the thing that would happen next year, a bit closer to launch, to get you. That's like the moment of maximum hype, isn't it? Because that's when you go, almost like a select group of people are allowed to share like a super opinion based on exclusive access that not everyone has. And that feels quite elitist almost. And I feel like that's something they might save for later in the campaign, if indeed they do it at all, but I think they probably will, even if it's one stage of it. And Rockstar, like you say, they've got better over the years. Like, I've been going to Rockstar demos probably for the best part of 20 years, and they've changed a lot. They used to be quite very staged, where the Rockstar rep would hold the pad, and you could almost tell they'd stage manage it down to the point of the way they would turn the right stick to frame the character as you went in on them.
Yeah.
I remember that around about GTA 4 era. That was quite a managed demo. But I think they got better quote marks, about showing you something, but then saying, do you want to have a go? And like, so as someone who attends the demos, it was quite fun. And you get this giddy 5-minute rush of, I'm going to steal a Faggio and drive down a road I'm not allowed to go down, and do your own little bit of storytelling for 5 minutes to make your version of the preview unique or interesting. I don't know what they'll do with 6 like that, but I don't know what you think. Do you think there's any chance we'll get to see it / play it this year?
We as in us?
Well, let's say us.
I mean...
Or indeed anyone, but like us especially.
I think if that chance was going to happen, it would have to happen in November. Because by December, a lot of people are starting to, think about Christmas and do all of that stuff. And the people who would be, running that day or event would also be in the same boat of it's getting quite close to Christmas now. I don't know if we can manage this properly. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in November, which, is 2 weeks away. So we've got a 6-week period from now till the end of November for that thing to happen. You'd probably want all of those write-ups to come out still in November. Maybe it would be okay if you embargoed it for some time in December. It feels quite tight. But who knows? It could be one of these things that normally the way events like this will work is you get quite a lot of run-up. Someone from the team of any of these companies, Ubisoft, EA, Activision, whatever, would go, hey, in 3 weeks we're doing this event, we're inviting you, would you like to come? So you can, start planning it, make sure that everyone is on board and can travel and whatever. There's definitely times when it's been this thing is happening in 2 days. Do you want to come? Which I could see happening with this, just probably, and as you say, that circle's going to be so small, but to make sure the risk is minimal of the people that are being invited and that the amount of time they might have to accidentally say something, you want to minimize, I imagine. You don't want someone going, I've been invited to Rockstar in 3 weeks. I wonder what that could be for.
Yeah.
And starting that cycle of it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I don't know. There is a chance. I think if I'm in the low percentage of that kind of thing happens, like you say, I think it's much more likely that there is and maybe it's a second wave. Maybe there is something that happens in November with one outlet, and it's very much a 5-minute slice or whatever. And then in January, February, it's expanded slightly, and now there's maybe 8 outlets that get a very similar demo, but maybe it's slightly different, or you get a bit of free roam to look at, you get to choose, I want to go look at that, and then that's your bit of special exclusive access. That feels more likely. Now, obviously, GTA 6 o'clock is going to go to both of those things, but maybe it transpires that the next year wave of the slightly expanded look at the game is where we get to report on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think if I'm flipping the coin, I feel like there'll be I'm more confident on pre-orders begin tail end of this year, some kind of asset, and then hands-on demos and or something early next year. I could be off base, like we said, we could be off base. That's just my personal lean. Maybe that's what I want to happen.
Yeah.
But because I want the maximum hype of seeing it in the flesh, so to speak, to be quite close to the game itself.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm not waiting for, oh God, I've seen it, but that was actually 5 months to go. I think that would be agonizing. So that's why I think they'd flip that switch closer to launch point, so people are ready to go.
All right. Well, obviously Rockstar are listening, and I'll just put it out there that my calendar's pretty open. So if you do want to send us some invites, get them in, and we'll book that time in. Now, quickly then, Dan, let's talk about GTA Online, as we just touched on in our previous conversation. But there's been a new GTA Online trailer that was released around a day, 18 hours ago, as we record this episode. As you are listening to this, it's probably a day to 2 days old now. And this trailer was called Experience Grand Theft Auto Online. So far, nothing out of the ordinary. What is quite funny, I think, is that it opens with the line,
I'm afraid our time isn't up yet.
and is then just a promotional trailer for GTA Online. There's some facts in it, like you get 4 million GTA dollars in Career Builder. The description is rise from street level hustler to kingpin of your own empire in this dynamic and ever evolving online world. I imagine that's meant to say. Get 4 million GTA dollars in Career Builder to establish your criminal enterprise now. I would say that releasing a trailer like this at this time is a very interesting thing to do for them. I don't think, looking back through their posting history, that they have ever released a standalone play GTA Online trailer that isn't tied to an event like Agents of Sabotage or an update or anything like that. If they have done it, it was a long, long time ago, years ago.
I can't remember. You're right. I cannot remember them in a generic, why not check out GTA Online type way. I just can't remember that ever.
No. And yeah, like I say, if they did do it, it was at the beginning of their campaign,
Yes.
10 years ago. But definitely for the last 4 years, it's all of these things have been tied to events and updates in GTA Online. There's never been hey, just come and check out this world. Which would lead us to the question, why now? Why would you release a trailer like this at this time that isn't tied to anything and is, I assume, effectively there just to get the player base higher or make people come back to the game that maybe have lapsed on it? And then again, why? If you know that your next generation of this product is coming out in 6 months' time, what would be the reason for getting people back in?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of ways to analyze it. One is the sort of the blunt, in the background, player counts are down and engagement is down, and they're just trying to swell up, like you say, lapsed users. But this actually feels more like, hey guys, have you heard of this thing called GTA Online? It feels like a beginner's pack. The fact that you're being offered, get $4 million in the Career Builder, this is like how to get started in GTA Online. And it's selling you the overall mission, isn't it? Of rise from a street level hustler to crime kingpin, which is, that's the rise to glory arc, where a lot of people who've been playing GTA Online for a long time have long since left the idea of being a street level hustler.
Yeah, they've got millions and millions of pounds, maybe billions,
and the
of
high
pounds.
rises, and they're just living an entirely different life. So this doesn't feel targeted at them. It feels more like, hey, welcome to GTA Online. Now, as I talked about in the show previously, I think this is increasingly relevant as GTA Online ages, because there are people who were just literally not born or not of an age to play it at points in history. And all of the time, people are aging into its demographic. It's like my kids. I've got a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old who's soon going 13, 14. I've seen him move up the tree of online games from, playing things like the Peppa Pig game to, I want to play Minecraft with my friends, to now we're all into Fortnite.
Yeah.
And now he's like, I want to play Battlefield. And you can see that aging up. And I think GTA Online waits probably somewhere at the higher end of that journey at a certain age. And all the time there are kids who are turning whatever the trigger age is for GTA Online. And I think companies forget sometimes to go, our existing user base is so big, let's just stay with them. Actually, no, we need to recruit new people to the fold. And this is what this feels like. Might be tied to as well, though. Let's re-engage that player base because, like you say, no one's saying it, but 6 is on the horizon. And I love the in-joke of this, right? I love that. I'm afraid our time isn't up yet. This seems to be a newish Rockstar motif of the first line of every trailer having that meta meaning, where GTA 6 trailer 2 was Jason saying, what are you doing up there? I'm just here fixing some leaks, like in a reference to the leaked GTA 6 problems they've had. So, yeah, that's what my take on it would be, is I think they're just reigniting interest, trying to get people back in the fold, laying the first flagstones down to GTA 6 and GTA Online. Unless there's another big activation coming within GTA Online they want to get everyone on the ground floor for.
Yeah, which is, I think, well, from my point of view, where this might be going. I will say I totally agree. I think with all the speculation around GTA Online coming to an end and starting to wind down and it getting its last updates soon, or maybe it's even happened, or it'll be the next one, opening your generic trailer with "I'm afraid our time isn't up yet" is very smart, and like going, it's a message to the community to go, actually, no, this is still going to continue for a while.
Yes.
Get used to it. But it did lead me to think that maybe GTA Online will just evolve into the GTA 6 map at some point and not be a new product like we've previously talked about of, trying to move people across from one thing to the other. With this kind of activation, wanting to get all these people back in, to me, feels like there could be a world in which they just change the map. So you load up GTA Online as you always have done, and you are now in Leonida instead of being in Los Santos. Like, Fortnite manages to do this. It changes the map at the end of every chapter. Now, the map structure in that game does stay reasonably the same, but all of the points of interest and the weapons and vehicles and everything changes at the end of every chapter. So I don't think that it's an impossible task for Rockstar to think about doing that. It would mean that they probably have to take the game offline for a period of time, which I think is still okay. But I think it would then also point to they'd want to do some kind of big in-game event or heist or story beat, which gets everyone to like the end of their time in Los Santos. And it's like, this is the final mission. Do this. It ends with something. And then everybody has played that up to the point to know, I can still keep playing GTA Online after I've done that story mission, but the story of this world has now finished. And next week, it's going to go offline. And when it comes back, we'll be somewhere else. Getting people in now and giving them some money. Now, $4 million GTA dollars at this point isn't actually that much money.
No, it doesn't go that. $4 million nowadays doesn't go that far.
No. But it would maybe get some people in. And I think you'd want to get those people in now and like putting it into the routine of, I got to log on to GTA Online. This thing is happening. And for them to announce something like that would be very exciting. You can imagine the spike of them going, see do the last mission ever of GTA Online. Maybe there's some hints towards GTA 6 in there. I just don't think you want to lose that player base that you've got established right now. Moving them over is also a challenge. Like trying to go, look, we know you'll love this product, but now we want you to go to this product over here, which is the same, guys. But even that is difficult. Like, they tried it with Overwatch 2. It didn't really work that well. And then you look at other big franchises like Call of Duty that now just has Warzone, which just exists across all of the Call of Duty games. Like that, it changes, but it's not a separate project per game. It's just a thing that you load into now. It's just Warzone. That's fine. I could see that just being GTA Online and GTA Online just being updated in a fairly significant way to support 6 whenever they're ready.
I think it would be, there's a difference between what I think will happen and what would be cool. Like, what would be cool is like a Fortnite-style epic world-bending event where everyone is like forced to attend live, almost for not the opening night of GTA 6, but you know what I mean? Some sort of event that, get ready, it's the reckoning, we're all going to 6, moving house time, whatever you call it, right?
We're all getting on the plane.
Yeah, like there's something happening. But then practically there's a lot of barriers to that. Like you can still play GTA Online on PlayStation 4 and PS4 Pro. Like that, I don't see any world where PS4 players get the version of Leonida as a GTA 6 map. They're not going to build it bespoke for a platform that's basically on its way out, are they? So that would lock out all of those players.
And PC, I guess.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do that yet. So I think the world of Los Santos and GTA Online as we know it will persist for maybe longer than we think. Because I think doing a sudden, it's a forced change. It's got so many impracticalities around platforms that I think they almost can't. And because, look, let's be honest, what's the real driver of this? As long as it's making money, it will continue to exist or coexist with the other version of GTA Online, whatever that is. So maybe it's all of those answers. Maybe there is an attempt to migrate and create a story event within GTA Online that pushes you, but it's not that GTA Online as we know it ends overnight. It's not, I guess Fortnite, I'll stop comparing things to Fortnite, where it does destroy the world and rebuilds it in a new image. But like everyone's kind of on the same start point with the platform. It's like the accepted rules of the game are that. And, you know, Fortnite's a bit different in terms of its geography and malleability. So my gut would be, yeah, exactly that. Like it will evolve more slowly than we realize, but they may try and do a big bang something story event to force a migration, but almost hoping people are concurrent. And over time, they drip feed from one to the other until they can silently shutter. You know, it'll be a footnote on a website one day. Rockstar closed down GTA Online PS4 servers.
Yeah.
Years from now, when there's just enough players that it's not a big deal. It's my feeling.
Fair enough. I think you won me back round. Fine. Now, one quick thing before we do our last bit. If I was being really conspiratorial, I would suggest that if you look at the opening frame of that trailer, which is on the back of the Vinewood sign, the V of Vinewood, and to the right of it, what you get there is a VI6.
Do you know what? I laugh because if I can believe that a rock is a bear, can I believe this is VI? Yes. And actually, this is a more contemporary, is memetic even a thing, a meme style reference than perhaps we realise. You might have seen that set image the Russo brothers put out from Avengers Doomsday.
I did not see that.
They put out a static image of the Doomsday set. Mm-hmm. And there was, I can't remember the words. It was something thinking about you've got to really zoom close, so you've got to look in. And obviously the internet went mad looking for clues. Got it. But what people were doing is basically like the shape of the furniture. They had those like A-line ladders or tables that were forming different things. And people were starting to like go, oh, well, that clearly means it's the Avengers, it's the X-Men, it's this. Some of that was nonsense. But there was clearly a deliberate attempt to create letter shapes out of furniture. And this is not a million miles from that. Using lighting to go, looks a bit like a V. Maybe not, right? But what I'm saying is there's cultural precedent for this right now. Like the Russo brothers have just done it a few weeks ago. When Rockstar were creating this trailer, it was probably a couple of weeks ago, and those paths might have aligned. And we're all part of the same online culture. And I think these sorts of things, these ideas, travel to people. And before you know it, you've absorbed something without even consciously doing it. So the people making the trailer may have gone, oh, we saw that Russo's thing. Wouldn't it be fun to do something like that in this? It's a big enough property, even though you hadn't seen it. But it is one of the bigger properties in the world.
Yeah.
GTA is in a very similar space to like something like Avengers Doomsday. I mean, it's coming out on a very similar timeline. They're almost competing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's a different set of conversations. But I think there's something in that idea, more than just throwaway in saying, are they using the imagery to create that breadcrumb style trail?
Yeah, I don't even know where I was going with it because it's a trailer for GTA Online. It's got nothing to do with 6 really. But hey, there's some imagery in there if you really want to go down that rabbit hole. And as promised at the top then, let's talk about episode 100. Now, we are hurtling towards it, and we are trying to plan something special around episode 100, which basically leads back to we would like to invite some guests onto the show. So we're asking you, dear listeners and viewers, that if you've got anyone that you would like to appear on our 100th episode special, to just like tag them below if you're watching or listening on YouTube, and then we will go and try and reach out to them and make contact. Of course, if you've got anyone that you can contact from the GTA 6 community, like people who run the websites, the blogs, people on forums, moderators, like anything like that, get them to get in touch with us. They can contact us on Twitter at GTAVOclock or via email gtaviclock@gmail.com, or just tag them into the comments below if you're watching or listening on YouTube. We will reach out. We'll try and get a really good host of special guests on for our 100th episode and do something a bit fun, ask them a set of questions or do some kind of quiz or whatever. We need to work that out yet. Got any suggestions for that? Put them in the comments as well. And hopefully we'll have a big community episode for our 100th special, which I think is around December, like mid-December. So it'll be a lovely Christmas present too.
Yeah, it'd be cracking. On a similar note, I've been thinking a bit about interaction with the newsletter because I keep saying it every week.
Have we got a newsletter?
We have. Gamesradar.com/newsletter.
Oh.
Now, I'll be honest with you, we are part of a bigger company and we have to use the tools provided. I am not in love with the newsletter tools because it makes it quite hard to find and engage with the newsletter. And when I share links to it, it looks like, hey, why have they sent me to a random page on Games Radar? That is the best link we have at this point in time, and it slightly annoys me. Similarly with interactions, where the newsletter lives almost in a sealed bubble, where there's no comments underneath, and there's not many ways to tag it or engage with it. So on last week's newsletter, I was asking people to share their favourite Rockstar merchandise and said, please reach out on X, which is one of our more engaging channels, or reach out to our email address. But I think none of that is as easy as when you listen to this podcast on YouTube, you just go into the comments and engage. So we get really high engagement there. I'd love to hear from you about what are the best ways for us to stay in touch with you? Are there social channels we should be on, but we're not? I have to flag that basically the show is James and I, plus our significantly massive day jobs, like I said at the start, that is making me go mad and et cetera, et cetera. So we can't be as active as we want to be everywhere. But if there's a touch point or a place you think we should be it a Discord or a different social channel, let us know. And that's all part of community building, which we want to do for episode 100, get some special guests on board. So please let us know in the YouTube comments. And, we'd love people to help make this happen. And going back even 10 years ago to GTA 5, we had members of the community run some of the channels for us. We had a GTA member run our Facebook page, for example. Might not want to be on Facebook anymore, but please let us know about the best ways to engage.
Great stuff. Well, you guys go off and do all of that. We will read all your comments and we will reach out definitely to anyone that looks like they could contribute to episode 100. So please go away and do that. And then we will return next week for another episode of GTA 6 O'Clock.